Oh, he paid for my dinner. Oh, he paid for me to get home. I'm going to need you to put your cheapness to the side. And anger, obsession, possessiveness are not signs of love. He's a stranger. It's okay to refer to this person as a stranger that you are getting to know better. You don't know that man. Because on this episode, we're going to be talking about how to date in a safer way in modern times.
My baby looking too good, yeah, she perfect. No, she worth it. When she pull up, all them man, them flirting. And yeah, she know that she a dime. Call up on my line. Told her, baby, bring it one time. Yeah. Girl, sit down and
Yo, what's really good though? It's your girl Yezzir. You are locked into another banging episode of Hey Sis UK. I'm your sis on the internet and in the real life. I think your only sis that's telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. And Lord, I've been needing the Lord. Life be life in you. And I know that a lot of us can relate. But if it's your first time here, this is Hey Sis UK. It's a family over here. We give you the good, honest truth about everything from dilemmas to situations that are going on in the real world and situations that are going on the internet. And you're here for a lifetime. So yeah, you've signed up to this. If it's not your first time, welcome back, man. Where have you been? I hope you had a decent week. Whether good, bad, whatever, it's going to get a lot better from this episode onwards. Yes, can I get an amen to that? And if you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you are following us on all our socials, from Instagram to TikTok to Spotify. We're there. So Instagram is HeySis_UK. TikTok is HeySisUK. You can follow your girl, Yezzir, on Instagram and on TikTok. The links are all there in the description box. And make sure you get yourself some merch. I got the flagship stuff, the one that you guys love the most, which is the Hey Sis UK mug. When you're watching every episode, even when you're not watching episodes, this bad boy is what you need to be sipping out of, okay? And we've got clothing too, but listen, link down below in the description box. Get into it. Obviously, we're always trying to level up the show, and obviously we've got some things coming out in the new year. And the grassroots of it is funds, guys. So we are a YouTube partner. So if you want to go ahead and give us a super thanks, the button is down below. Give us a super thanks. It helps us level up the show in every single way. And I'm very, very happy to say, I can't announce it just yet, I know, oh gosh, but there are some incredible things that's happening in the new year. So stay on this journey with us, guys. There's a lot going on, and let's just say you're going to be very excited. I'm going to try my best to make sure you're in the loop with actually coming to see what we've been working on without trying to give too much away. So get yourself a chance to do that. I will be announcing some things soon. Oh, it's so hard when you got good things going on, but you can't say just what it is, but hey. Anyway, get yourself a mug, man. Settle down. Let's get in. So I was talking to an acquaintance. I'm sure if you've been watching and listening to the show long enough, I've had to learn to differentiate between someone that's a friend, your bestie, your girl, your sis, an acquaintance, a co-worker. The list goes on and on. So let's lead with guidance. Let's think with guidance when we meet people. So I was speaking to an acquaintance. Cool. And they were dating a few people, and there was a particular person that ended up being a stalker. I know it is scary times we're living in. And we were kind of just dissecting how she got to this point. Now, don't get me wrong. You can put all the precautions out there. If someone's going to be a weirdo, they're going to be a weirdo girl. So what can we do? But we did think to break down a few things where it was like, okay, where did I kind of go wrong that made this a lot easier for them to stalk me? Because sometimes you can put up a few hurdles, like they have to put in proper effort to stalk you. And for other people, you've made it very easy. So let me go ahead and take a sip, because on this episode, we're going to be talking about how to date in a safer way in modern times. You've got AI, you've got tech, you've got social media that makes it very easy to track someone's everyday lifestyle. The things that you want to keep private are not as private as you think. And when it comes to dating, you're going to be meeting a lot of different people. So let me go ahead and take my sip, and then we're going to tuck right into this, all right? Let's get a cuppa. A few of you have been saying that to me when I've been going out and about, where it's like, hey, sis, let's get a cuppa. I love that. That's something really good. So let's get into it. It saddens me when I see stuff in the news about women being kidnapped. The most recent one that I saw, two recent ones, were these two ladies that went to a hotel in Tunisia, and one of them was clubbing in the hotel and they got kidnapped. So scary. Another woman that was dismembered and found in the wall of the guy that she went on a date with. Don't get me wrong, yeah. I know. I want to preface this conversation by saying it doesn't matter sometimes in some situations how many precautions you take to avoid meeting weirdos when you are out there dating. The current dating scene, I know, is on the floor. But I do feel like sometimes we need a refresher, and if you're not aware of these things, to now take note of, okay, how do I navigate dating in a much safer way? So, you're talking to a guy, maybe online, you've not met him, or you met him in passing, exchange numbers, you've just been talking. I want to remind my sisters out there that no matter how long you've been talking to a guy, if you are yet to go on a date with him or have been dating him and really get to know him, he is a stranger. It's okay to refer to this person as a stranger that you are getting to know better. You don't know that man, and that man should not know you more than you know him, okay? So when you're talking to a guy, you set up a date and a time, location. And it ain't a date unless you've got a date, time, and location. Please never sell yourself so low that you allow someone to say, oh yeah, we're going to go on a date and we'll figure something out. You are not to be freestyled, okay? You don't figure something out. A man that is very intentional with you will say, we're going on a date. We'll try to understand what you like or get an understanding of what type of things you like. Plan it and give you a date, a time, and a location. It's that simple. And if you can't do the basics, then that man is not for you, because a man that wants you will be very intentional with you and be very specific about getting you. So you set up a date, a time, and location. It's good to know where you're going, because some people say, oh, it's a surprise. Now, you can do a surprise when you know somebody. When you don't know this person, and in this situation, a man, we can say, well, that surprise stuff if I feel like this is going somewhere. For the first date, I want to know where we're going. If you live in a city, because I can only compare it to a city, and the one I'm in is London, and the landscape of London is a bustling city. If you come from a city that mirrors the landscape of London, then this is great, because you already know the busy areas in your city. So for example, it's ideal for you to go on a date in a busy area like Soho, Canary Wharf, somewhere in central London, where you have back-to-back restaurants, where you have an ample amount of lighting. Daytime is fine, and I'm not saying go for a coffee date, okay? I ain't trying to tell you to do all of that. But something that's maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, not too late, to even start the evening off with. So make sure you're going to a place that is busy and well lit. You want to do all that quiet, isolated, romantic stuff, do it with a man that you know. A man that is insisting, the first date, I'm going to cook you a meal at my place. As enticing as that might sound, do not go over to a man that you do not know well enough to his house, where it's just you and him, and he has the ability to lock all the doors. Can you see the visual that I'm painting for you right now? As I'm saying this, it sounds scary, but you would be shocked at how many women will go to a man's house on the first date. And just because nothing happened doesn't mean something could not have happened, okay? It's still a risk you're taking. So when you've agreed date, time, and location, he's made you aware of where you're going. Where you're going is something that is suitable for you. Even if you have to tell him, I'm flattered at the fact that, you've taken the time out to organize this. I would prefer a different place. You don't have to tell him, I want a busier location because I don't know you well enough. That's not information you need to offer up. But you can make it be known to him that maybe it's easier for you transport-wise to be in these type of locations. If he insists on picking you up, and we're going to get to that point soon, please reinforce the fact that you are fine, that it's just your commute there and back. You just want to make it as smooth as possible as yourself. You do not need his assistance when it comes to transport. This man is a stranger, my girl. Cool. You've established that. What I'm going to need you to do, sis, is do not go on this date with a man that you're not proud of. Now, some people will go on a date or date someone that they're not sure of, and they do this thing where they go to their friends, I didn't want to tell you about him because I wasn't sure of him, or da-da-da-da-da. When it comes to your life, we don't have time to play about with your privacy. When you're going on your date, first date with a man that you don't know well enough, at least one person needs to know that you're out on a date. Ideally, I would say two, but let's just say it's one person. Now, you can do this in so many convenient ways. Some people just say, I'm going on a date with this guy at this time in this place. If you get yourself in a situation where you have been taken to another location, that's it. No one knows where you are. By the time people are reporting this to the police and trying to get a track of where you are, it could be too late. These are modern times. I know you can do much better. The most convenient way to keep yourself safe while you're going out on a first date or dating a guy that you don't know well enough is to drop your location on WhatsApp. Really easy. I think it's about 2 clicks to do this. Yeah, 2 clicks. WhatsApp will give you options of 15 minutes, 1 hour, and 8 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever the longest length of time is, do that. Let's just say it's 8 hours, for example. You drop that for your friend. Your friend can keep track of where you are for 8 hours. Now, that 8 hours that you're out and about for, yeah, it should be enough time for your friend to track you on your way to the date, for you to have a dinner, maybe get a nightcap, maybe a stroll after the date or a second location, and for you to come back home, okay? You don't need to be out longer than 8 hours with this man. That date should have been wrapped up within 4 to 5 hours. Okay, you're getting to know him. We don't have times for sleepovers for people that you don't know well enough. Cool. Now, remember when I was talking about if he were to insist on making your commute a lot easier by picking you up? We don't need all of that. If you want to be safe out here dating in a time when women are being kidnapped and women are being tortured and brutalized when meeting someone off a random app, this is what I'm going to need you to do. If a man insists on picking you up, yeah, if he insists on picking you up from your home, tell him it's fine. I'll be making my way down there. I'll be coming from work. So it just makes it a lot easier for me. Or I'm coming from another location, or I'm going to have someone else drop me off because they're going the same way and I'm already out and about with them. I'm not saying that you're supposed to come out with fairy tales, but this is you ensuring your safety because there's certain things that you shouldn't offer up on a first date. This is time to get to know each other, but it's not to know someone's schedule in life, okay? So when he says, oh, you know what, I can pick you up, decline politely, decline in a way that doesn't make it look like you're suspicious of him because you're not. This is purely just safeguarding. It's just keeping yourself safe. Cool. You've had a great time. The dinner was great. The conversation was bubbling. You've had your nightcap. You've had your stroll. You feel comfortable with him, and that's cute. And he might insist on dropping you off home. That's okay. This is why I say you make your own way to the date. You make your own way back home. You say, it's fine, I'm going to make my way back home. It's all right. He goes, no, you want to keep you safe. I feel like as a man, I should take you home. Let me escort you. No, it's fine. It is really fine. Don't worry about it. Even if he tries to bring up the fact of, oh, do you not want me to know where you live? What, you don't want me to know where you live? No, I don't want you to know where I live yet because I'm still getting to know you. And you seem nice enough, but let's see where this goes. Because imagine, your home is your sanctuary. Your home is where you are majority of the time other than work. God forbid something doesn't go well with this particular individual and he actually knows where you live. You can't just move like that in this day and age. It takes time, it takes money. So keep your home the last bit of information about yourself until you really get to know this person's character. So some people and some men would do a thing like this. Okay, you don't want me to drop you home. You don't want me to escort you home. I'm going to order you an Uber. It's fine, my brother. You don't need to order me an Uber. I'm okay. Because you know what that means? Yes, he's put out the gesture of, taking you home in some shape or form, whatever, for an Uber. But you're going to have to put your postcode there. You're going to have to put your address there. And some people get so giddy. Oh, he paid for my dinner. Oh, he paid for me to get home. I'm going to need you to put your cheapness to the side. And I'm going to need you to understand that we are talking about your safety. Okay, there are no extra points just because a man paid for your Uber home. And some of you will say, oh, I only gave my postcode. A postcode gives a precise locality, the actual location of where you live. A postcode is enough that if someone were to want to find out where you live, just wait a while. It won't take too long. So no, just because they don't have a door number, they don't have a street, or they only got a postcode, it's not enough. If he offers to take you home by ordering you an Uber, my sis, I'm going to need you to decline politely again and go, Don't worry, I've already ordered mine. It's on the way. Simple. Cool. Now, let's get to the point where you're at dinner. I know the settings are romantic and he's probably got you flowers and the food is great and he's even suggested an ordering for you and he ordered good girl. You know, he knows you already off the conversations. Don't get gassed up when you're at the dinner table. And when I say don't get gassed up is that sometimes the compliments, the flowers, the good settings, the conversation gets you so gassed that you start offering up information that no one asked you for. Information that probably comes at the third date or maybe 6 months down the line, you're already offering it up. The first one is when people try to get to know you, they ask you about your career. And some stalkers are really good at not engaging with you and finding out a lot. And some of them have engaged with you enough to the point that if you decide to cut off communication with them, they're already hooked and they already know where to find you. So some of the first things that people do innocently, and the ones that aren't so innocent, is they'll ask you about your career. And it's very easy to get to know someone when you ask them about your career because you say, oh, you know, what do you do for work? You say, what do you do for work? And you say, oh, where are you based around? You start to give geographical locations of where you work in a city. So if you say, oh, I live in London and I work in Liverpool Street, boom. They already got the location. They already know the industry you're in. Once someone can narrow down how many offices are based in the industry or the line of work that you do, they've already honed in. Then what you do that I think is like, girl, you need to just wind it back a bit, is that you'll be at the dinner table with a complete stranger who you don't know. You're having a conversation and you're offering up information that you shouldn't be revealing about yourself until you get to know this person a little bit better. You start giving them your weekly routine. Girl, there's a lot of things you can talk about at the dinner table. You don't need to tell this man the coffee shop that you get your regular coffee at work every morning, at least 5 days a week. You don't need to let him know the exact Pilates studio that you go to on the weekend. You definitely don't need to let him know the station you take from your house to get home. You're offering up too much information. Talk about the holiday you went on. Talk about the last movie you saw and the theatre show that you're looking forward to see. Your routine is something that's still very private information and it's too much to offer up on a first date. Yeah? Cool. So when you're talking about your career and what you do, you can talk about what you do without having to give a location out as to what you do. You can say, for example, you're a dentist. You don't have to say where your practice is. You can say you're a dentist. You don't have to say, oh, and down the road from my office, this is where I like to get my morning coffee. It's far too much. It's far too much information. You can talk about the school you went to because you've left the school. The university is always going to be there. It's going to be standing. It's not going to move. That's fine. But where you move around, that's what's important. That's one of the things that you have to be mindful of when mentioning on a first date. Cool. Now, when it comes to social media as well, you have to be mindful because there's some people that they don't know how to take no for an answer. And this is one of the signs of knowing if this man is going to be someone who has attachment issues, if he has anger issues, or if you've just met a stalker. If you say things like, oh, you know, I'm going to be very busy today. Unfortunately, I can't meet up with you. And he tries to ask you out on a date. And you're not really sure of him. Sometimes people want a bit of time, a bit of breathing space to think about whether or not they want to see someone again. Or they are genuinely busy. If he isn't able to give you breathing space, or he shows up randomly at places by coincidence, I'm going to need you to step back from the situation. I'm not saying that he's a full-blown madman, but we have to take into account that if someone isn't able to understand your nose, it might be something that you have to look a bit deeper into. If he pulls up at your house randomly, if he pulls up at your place of work and makes a scene, someone that doesn't take your career seriously is someone that you have to be mindful of. There's a lot of women out there whose biggest ambition, it's not their biggest ambition to be married with kids. It's a great bonus. It's a great goal to have in life, but it's not the end of the world. Some women are very fulfilled by their careers. If you date a man that doesn't take your career seriously and every single disagreement you have, he decides to take the information that he knows about you and uses it to his advantage and isn't a forward thinker. There are certain people, specifically men that you could date, that will just pop up at your place of work. Oh, you haven't spoken to me. I need to speak to you. And they think they're making a grand gesture. But really what they're doing is they're not taking into consideration your livelihood. Because there's a lot of companies that they don't like that type of attraction being brought to their offices. So if you date a man that is unhinged, he's not balanced, he's someone that suffers with anger issues and hasn't established that yet. He hasn't done the work within himself in the forms of maybe therapy, a change of diet, a cleanse of some sort. You need to ask yourself, is this something that I want to be tackling with all the time while I'm dating? Yo, listen, I see you watching. Hey, and we're talking about some dating stuff. So I hope you got your pen and paper out. But until then, yeah, I know you haven't liked, I know you haven't subscribed, and I know you haven't dropped a comment. So I'm going to give you a bit of time to go ahead and do that while I sip on my Hey Sis mug. A little ASMR for you. Yeah, that's enough time. Let's get back to the episode. One of the other things I wanted to mention when it comes to sitting down at your date is that sometimes you can get a bit giddy with the settings, and it's nice. You know, as women, we like to be wooed. It's a thing. Do not accept any drinks that haven't been brought over by a waiter. Most of the drinks will be poured for you at the table. Your wines, water will be poured for you. When we're talking about drinks that he suggests, oh yeah, I'm going to get us more drinks, go with him. But make it very casual. Like I said, don't make it look like you're some paranoid woman the whole time. But like, oh yeah, I'll come with you. I haven't made up my mind. Oh no, I'll bring it over. It's fine. I need to get up anyway. Or let the waiter bring it over. You've seen it being poured. Don't accept any drinks from a person that you've met for the first time. And before you know it, you're off. You're gone. You have no control over your body. There's a lot of drugs that are being slipped into women's drinks nowadays that you wouldn't even know what's happening to you before it's too late. Your body is numb. You have no control over it. So what I'm saying is make sure you keep safe out there, sis. So when it comes to meeting someone who it might have just been once, twice, and you've decided, you know what, he's not for me. And that unfortunately turns a bit sour because some people can't accept no's. Some people don't do rejection well. I want to let you know that obsession isn't a sign of love. A persistence isn't always something that should be seen as a compliment. If you don't like someone, listen to your intuition, it's fine. They don't have to be for you. Someone that is persistent, when you have rejected them time and time again, it could be a red flag, okay? And the red flags you should look for is someone who is obsessed over you. When it comes to social media in the modern times, this is someone that will let you know that they are watching you all the time. They may not interact with you, but they'll do things like old pictures that you've previously posted. They'll make sure that they always see your story, but they don't engage with you because they know that you don't want them speaking to them. And obviously we're adults. You may not feel the need to block someone. You would assume that they would fade away with time. Not everybody understands social cues. Some people feel like if I just keep trying, surely I'll get her. On dates, something can be said. There's a way in which you carry yourself that just doesn't click with someone, or they just don't find you attractive when they're meeting you in person. It's okay to change your mind. Just because you went on date number 1, you went on date number 2. If you don't feel like going on date number 3, there's nothing wrong with you. It's about feeling out the situation. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But there are ways that you can use to let someone just fade away in the distance. And that's why I say you have to protect your physical locations. When you protect your third space, your place of work, and your local gym, shopping center, coffee shop, this allows you to carry on without thinking that, oh, I have to change my whole life because I let someone in way too early. Because it's easy to say, oh, I go to Anytime Fitness, and they already know where you live. So by the time you tell them, oh, this is the local station I go to every morning, and you say that, oh, your gym's closer to where you work than where you live, someone already knows where to find you because you've gotten offered up the information of, oh, I like to get a workout out every, Tuesday at 6 a.m. Hold back the information, sis, because based on the examples I've given you, You already know where I work. You already know where I go to the gym. You already know my local supermarket. Whoa. It's only a matter of time before someone knows where you live. So when I say going on a first date with a man, no matter how long you've spoken to them, it's crucial for you to be able to talk about broad conversations without being very specific in regards to your private life. Because unfortunately, we live in a day and age where there are people that are hurting women that they meet for the first time. So please protect yourself and keep safe. Okay? Another thing that you need to understand when someone has the traits of an obsessive partner, potential partner, is that their emotions are like a pendulum. 1 minute they're blowing hot and cold. They're very accepting. Next thing you know, they are angry with you. And they can be passive aggressive. I think a lot of people accept passive aggressive behavior way too easily in this day and age. And I think sometimes when you come from a certain background or certain culture or just class, people like to bring some type of rationale as to why you're passive aggressive. But being passive aggressive isn't something that should be accepted in a relationship. And it's okay to address that. If you feel like, oh, the way you're acting, it could be the way you're speaking, the way your energy is around somebody, it doesn't make me feel comfortable. I would like you to regulate that. And if you don't have the ability to regulate your passive aggressiveness, then this isn't the type of relationship for me. Because I think with the way the dating scene is now, and yes, it is in a poor state, you find more and more women having to accept things they wouldn't usually accept if the dating scene was in a healthier place. Because as society is, they tell you that you're too picky, or you need to practice patience. And I find it so annoying and triggering when people tell women, oh, you need to practice patience. Women are patient. Women have been groomed to be patient. Women have been groomed to accept that life isn't always going to be fair. But when a woman is already exercising patience and people feel the need to tell her you need to be even more patient than you already are, it doesn't allow us to have women that are able to be free thinkers and being able to be confident enough to say, as much as I believe in exercising patience in certain situations, I do believe equally that women should be able to say, this is the last straw. God forbid a woman says this is the straw that broke the camel's back, because every time you hear a situation of a woman saying enough is enough, or I'm not comfortable with the situation, or I'm tired, it's always a woman's last straw. I remember someone told me a saying once that a woman never walks out of heaven. If something is that good, women don't leave. Because from the offset, women go into a situation invested. They go in there with positive energy and for the long term. It's very rare that a woman will see a man and want to date him and think.
Don't forget to subscribe to Hey Sis UK so you never miss out on an episode.
Okay, when something is good, a woman doesn't leave. Because from the offset, women enter situations, even when it's just dating someone initially or just a talking stage, women rarely ever think short term. They're always thinking long term. It's very positive and they're invested. We're talking emotionally, physically, and sometimes financially. But that just goes to show that women have always wanted something to work, especially when it comes to their relationships. So when I say things like women never leave heaven, it's because women always leave it to the last minute, in a sense of when they're done with the situation, best believe they have exercised every other route to making this work. But we also have to protect ourselves, because you find a lot of women stay in situations because they're told all the time, you need to be more patient. You wake up one day and you're in an abusive relationship, okay? And anger, obsession, possessiveness are not signs of love. This is not healthy, never will be. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because when you find yourself in a situation with a partner who is obsessive and possessive and angry, you look back and you've definitely compromised yourself in a lot more ways than you would have imagined to make a relationship work. Because the elders and society and the internet told you that you're too picky and you're waiting too long before you find the right person, and you're just downright impatient. You need to exercise more patience. No. Okay? And I want to say that when it comes to modern day and dating people, it's great to have boundaries, and we see a lot of the time that we're having more and more conversations about boundaries when it comes to family and friends. I don't think we have enough conversations about having boundaries in your relationships, even when you are dating people. And I mean this in a time frame of dating someone like an initial 6 months. You have to have these boundaries just so you know who you are as an individual and who you are with this person. And boundaries can be something as simple as you needing space just to get your head right. And I think a lot of people's knee-jerk reactions, and I see this with women a lot, is that when a man needs boundaries, sets boundaries, and he says, I need a little space, some women go into overdrive and go, oh no, you're going through something. Let me be there for you. And they almost pounce the person. It's very suffocating. And I want to say to my sisters out there, I know that you're doing it from the goodness of your heart, but sometimes when a man says he needs space, please just give the brother space. Space can be a day or two, space can be a week, and that's okay. As long as he's not a scandalous brother that's doing something somewhere, elsewhere, with somebody else. Sometimes people just need time to get their head together or just knuckle down because they're focused on a few things that are work related. That's okay. And to be honest with you, if you do feel like you're someone that only wants to cover someone in love because they said they need space, but you think they're doing something else, that means you're suspicious of them. And if you don't trust them, that's not the type of relationship you want to be in, because it's such a crappy feeling to be in a situationship where you feel like your position is not secured. You always feel like someone's looking elsewhere. And trust me, if you are loved the right way you're supposed to be loved, that man will make you feel like you're the only woman in the world. You will not feel like there's someone that can take your spot. Okay. As we talk about this topic, I want to know what you're thinking. What's come to your mind? Have you ever found yourself that you've been on a date and you've gone, ooh, maybe I have said a bit too much when the wine's been going through my system. Maybe I should reel it back a bit. Or there have been a couple of times I went out with a guy, wasn't really sure of him, so I didn't think to mention it to friends or family. And I want to be honest with you, sis. If you find yourself doing that, you are taking a risk. Because I can tell you this for a fact. The girls that went out with guys that maybe kidnapped them, brutalized them, or even killed them, I don't think they knew that that would happen. They definitely didn't feel like there was a reason to think otherwise. They've gone there innocently out of the goodness of their heart and being hopeful to having a decent first date. So, as we come to a close, I want to say the final takeaways are this. If you go on a date, practice even beforehand what you know you're not going to mention and the way in which you want to speak. Practice being able to conversate about wider topics without being too specific to your routine and your private life. The 3 things that you definitely should have mentioned while you're getting to date a guy that you don't know well enough is your home location, your work location, and what was the third one? And your third space. Those are the 3 things. Home, work, and your regular third space. And it doesn't have to be like a proper third space, like a members only club, but it could be something as simple as your local supermarket, your gym, or a place that you go regularly for your coffee. That's what I mean. I also want to tell you, don't be afraid to date. Like, date often, date across the board, and date with an open mind. But please practice the way in which you speak. Talk about broad topics, and broad topics being your interest, your likes, your hobbies. And with your hobbies, try not to be too specific to places that are close to you. So, for example, if you like to do kayaking, but the place that you do kayaking is like an hour away from where you live, that's fine. But don't say you like to go to do your regular yoga on a Sunday morning and that's 10 minutes from where you live. You get what I mean? So please just be guided in the way in which you talk about what you do around the city, especially a busy one. So until then, guys, you have been listening or watching another banging episode of Hey Sis. Make sure you stay blessed. Bye.
Girl, sit down and relax. Girl, let me put it on you, no time for chit chat. Because she move like a queen and I like what I see and I wanna get more of that.
I undress and he blows success. Lay down as you decompress. Come mine and forget the stress. Got the 9 to 5 cause he tryna change his life. He can't help it but to show his bad side. So he call me Yezzi when he want that good ride. Follow my stride, you know you want a good time. Pick any card, I know it won't decline. He know how to please me.